Let me close my work stuff. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you guys see the slides?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Great. All right, guys, let's talk about how to use AI to be super lazy and automate our jobs. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get started. So, welcome everyone. Really appreciate all of you guys for showing up around the world to my lightning session. We're gonna talk about how to 10 AI workflows to save time and get more done at work. And I think most of you know me. My name is Peter. I write a newsletter about AI and product for 100,000 subscribers. I work at Roblox as a product leader, and I spend way too much time on Twitter and LinkedIn. So that's me. Please make sure you mute your mic, just in case. Yeah. And I'm gonna run through some slides, and then hopefully we'll have a few minutes at the end to answer any questions. Okay. All right. So, there's a lot of concern about, is AI going to replace our jobs? I don't think AI will replace product managers or designers or engineers. Instead, I believe that AI-powered PMs will replace complacent PMs, right? So how do you become an AI-powered PM? Well, I think there are 5 steps. You need to learn how to use AI to build your personal AI copilot, advance your career, become more productive at work, build AI prototypes, and craft AI products that users love. And today, I'm going to cover 2 very practical topics from the stack: how to level up your AI prompts, and 10 of my favorite AI workflows to save time. Okay. All right. So I don't really like to waste time on AI theory or stuff. So let's get right into it. The most basic skill you just start with is learning how to prompt AI effectively, right? And so let's explore how to craft a great AI prompt to write a product spec, a PRD. And like many of you, I often default to simple one-line prompts. Can you help me write a PRD about this, please? But you'll get dramatically better results by following these 7 steps. Please mute so we don't hear your noises. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay. I think accidentally muted me too. But let's keep going. Okay. So step 1 is to give AI a specific role and task, right? So for example, you are a senior product leader and a clear writer. Your task is to transform my rough notes into a great PRD. Okay. Step 2 is to give AI specific instructions. For example, I like to write PRDs that have 3 sections: a problem statement, the goals, and the solution. The more specific your instructions are, the more relevant AI's output becomes. And step 3 is to include examples of good output. For example, I like to add my go-to PRD template to the top of this prompt. And this is probably the most important step to remember. Always give AI context and examples of what good output looks like. Step 4 is to structure your prompt using XML tags. Adding clear section tags will help prevent AI from mixing up your data and your instructions. And step 5 is to give AI space to think. So chain of thought basically means asking AI to share its thinking before answering. And this technique can improve response quality by up to 39%. So for example, here I'm asking AI to analyze my PRD template to understand my writing style first before drafting a new PRD based on my notes. And one caveat here is that with reasoning models like ChatGPT's o3 or Gemini 2.5, this step is already baked in. Okay. Step 6 is to ask for variations. AI won't complain if you tell it to do extra work, so you might as well ask it for multiple variations and then pick the best parts from each one. And final step is to add constraints. You know, I hate overly long documents that don't get to the point. So always add some word or character count constraint to my prompts. You know, here we're asking AI to limit each PRD to 600 words or about 2 pages. Okay, so why don't we see this prompt in action? You know, I'm going to copy this prompt along my PRD template into AI and then give it these simple notes to draft a PRD for a habit tracking app. So let's go ahead and do this. All right. So let me move this around a bit. So here I have Claude, and you can use ChatGPT or Gemini. It doesn't really matter. And let's go ahead and copy this prompt. Okay. So this is my write PRD prompt right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this into Claude. And you see here that I have left room for a template, right? So I'm gonna pull my PRD template. And it's a pretty basic template. It's like start with the problem statement, what's the customer problem, talk about the goals and the requirements. And then I have some example notes here for a Pinterest feature. But I'm gonna just go ahead and copy this whole template into AI. Just copy this all the way up to here. Okay. So I'm gonna put it right over here in the reference section. And basically the prompt is, you're a senior product leader and it's referencing the template, right? So let's go ahead and do this, okay? So that it can start analyzing the template. So you see here that it's like going through the thinking process, like, here's like some key characteristics of my PRD template. And it's like, I'm happy to help transform your notes into a PRD. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. So my notes are pretty basic, pretty lazy. It's like, write a PRD for a habit tracking app and some basic requirements. All right. So let's go ahead and paste this in. Okay, here you go. So now it's writing a PRD based on my template and based on my prompt. You can see here that it's starting with the problem statement, who is the customer, busy professionals like myself, what's the customer problem? They want to focus on building good habits. And then there's some like made up numbers. So you have to definitely audit this and make sure that it's actually accurate. But it's done a pretty good job of starting the problem, stating the output metric we're trying to increase, and writing the solutions in the user story format that I like. So this is how I write PRDs these days. I almost never start a PRD from scratch. I always use my AI prompt and a template and some rough notes, or even better than rough notes, if you can actually have a conversation with actual customers, it can be a Discord conversation or any kind of conversation, and paste that in as your notes. That makes a huge difference to make sure that it comes up a really good template, right? And now I can, basically copy this into a Google Doc and start modifying myself. It just saves so much more time than having to start from scratch with a blank piece of paper. Okay, so that is for writing a PRD. So let's kind of quickly recap. When you're thinking about writing a PRD, just remember to use these 7 steps to write a great AI prompt and take back your time. And you can use the 7 steps for any kind of prompt that you want to make, right? Okay. All right, I'm not sure why there's check marks on the screen, but okay, but let's keep going. So speaking of taking back your time, let's talk about my 10 favorite AI workflows to save time at work, okay? And how are we doing time here? We have a lot of time. Okay, great. All right, so we all have these repetitive, annoying tasks at work that drain our time and energy, right? And when I spot one of these tasks, I start with lazy one-line prompting to see if AI can help. But if the task is annoying enough, then I invest time to craft a proper AI prompt using the 7 steps. Now, crafting a great prompt takes time upfront, but saves countless hours down the line. And that is what the AI loop is all about. Most product managers and most product teams, they have an internal feedback loop with stakeholders and executives, right? And the good PMs also have a customer feedback loop where they talk to users every day. But the AI loop is my secret weapon because it helps me think through the other 2 loops more clearly. So for example, I love using AI to summarize user feedback. If you're building with users, then you probably have a fire hose of daily feedback. But sometimes you just don't have enough time to read through all of it yourself. Instead, you can use this AI prompt to identify the key themes and insights from discussion threads, from surveys, and from other raw feedback. This alone probably saves me 30 minutes every day. So let me give you a quick demo. I recently launched a product at Roblox for creators to test different game thumbnails. All right, so as you can see here, I got tons of feedback on the announcement. So let's use our AI prompt to summarize this feedback, okay? So here's the post that I made, and let's pull up my prompt. I have a prompt library where I save all my prompts. So let's first paste in this summarize feedback prompt into AI. Let's open a new chat. Okay, here we go. All right. So that's the prompt. And let's go ahead. You can see here I made an announcement about personalizing thumbnails, blah, blah, blah. And then I got a ton of feedback. I got like 45 comments, right? Including this one. There's a fan of mine. So let's go ahead and copy this whole thing. Let's say I'm really busy. I don't have time to read through all this. Let's copy this whole thing into AI. Okay, so let's go all the way up to here. Let's make sure I copy. And let's go ahead and paste this into it right here. Okay. All right. So I've structured my prompt in a way that even though I'm being lazy and using AI to summarize it, I made sure to ask AI to give me actual customer quotes. So like the raw feedback doesn't get lost. But you can see here, there's like some key takeaways, right? It looks like people overall love the feature, amazing update, but it looks like there's some technical issues with thumbnail visibility. People want more control over thumbnail testing, and there's demand for different metrics, right? And then it even suggests some next steps for me to take with my team. So I can basically, again, copy this whole thing over into a Slack message or a Google Doc, and then discuss this feedback with my team, and then action on it. And this probably took me 10 seconds to do. And especially when you have large surveys of 100 different responses or like a ton more feedback, this saves you a ton of time. Okay, so definitely use it to summarize user feedback. All right, let's go back to our slides. So next, you should also be using AI to learn about a new market or topic quickly, right? So deep research from ChatGPT, from Gemini, or from Grok is perfect for this. Here I asked AI to help me understand the A/B testing space, and it gave me a detailed report with market trends, best practices, and the competitive landscape. Another great way to do research is to summarize YouTube videos with AI. There's so much great educational content on YouTube, and you can use AI to get the takeaways in seconds instead of watching an hour-long video. All right, so let me do a quick demo again. So let's use my summarized video prompt to recap my interview with this product leader from Microsoft. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this prompt, summarize video prompt, and let me close some windows. All right, here we go. So let's paste this prompt in here, and let's go ahead and get this interview. Okay, so I have this. So I have this podcast where I interview top product leaders and AI founders, and please don't do this for my podcast. But I want to show you guys how to save time if you just don't have time. So go here and go to show transcripts, and it's kind of unfortunate that you have to do this because I wish Google just supported this by itself, but my prompt is designed to make it really easy to get the key takeaways and quotes. So basically, again, you're doing a lot of copy and pasting here. You're copying and pasting this whole transcript. Okay, let's copy this whole transcript. Let's copy, and let's go ahead and paste it right here. So it looks like AI. Okay, let's paste it right here, and let's go ahead and submit. And what is this prompt, right? So what this prompt does, let's pull it up, is I provided, as I mentioned, examples of good output given an input. So here, I've actually manually summarized a YouTube video from Andrej Karpathy into the format that I want, like 3 takeaways, like quotes and different sections with timestamps. And this is based on the example input. Like this is like the raw transcript input from YouTube. So because I given it this example, AI now understands the format that I want, right? And the rest of my prompt is down here. Okay. So again, the example, providing examples is key. Okay. So here you see that AI has summarized the full podcast interview. There's like takeaways, there's quotes, and I can read through this, and maybe I can prepare for a new conversation with Amit. And doing this again takes maybe like a few minutes compared to watching hour-long YouTube videos. Okay. But of course, for the videos that you actually enjoy watching, you should still watch it, especially if it's for my podcast. So, but yeah, but this is like a way to save time. All right, let's go back here. Let's keep going. Okay. Now, if you want to get more technical, here's a great prompt to get AI to explain a new concept using the Feynman technique. So this technique basically turns AI into a personal tutor that helps you understand complex concepts through simple analogies and knowledge checks. Okay, so for example, I can use this prompt to get AI to explain reinforcement learning to me. Notice how it's using analogies and testing my knowledge. It's asking me questions to test my understanding. So try this prompt yourself or even with your kids to learn something new. All right, now number 4 is an amazing time saver that's also great for your health. I like to go on walks after lunch in this park and pull up Super Whisper to draft a document using my voice. Super Whisper is basically like a voice dictation app, and it supports both desktop and also iPhone. Okay. If you have an Android, there's other apps out there that you can find that does something similar. So basically, I talk to myself in the park. Maybe my coworkers will look at me weird, and then I send the raw transcript from my voice to myself. And then I use another prompt in ChatGPT and Claude to clean up the raw transcript into the format that I like, right? So you can see here how it went from this like crazy wall of text into a document that's actually very easy to read. So this is a 2-step process. First, you talk to yourself and you get the raw transcript, and then you feed the raw transcript into another prompt with your examples of good output to get to the document. And nowadays, a lot of times for my newsletter, the first draft of my newsletter, a lot of times I write it just like taking a walk, and then I use this thing to make it more polished, and then I add more information and make it better. But this is probably like one of the most important tips. Like voice is the best way to give AI a lot of context without having to type everything, right? So definitely use Super Whisper or like another voice dictation app, both for work and also for your personal pursuits. Okay, now believe it or not, AI is also really useful for improving your product strategy. I don't use AI to draft my strategy, but I do use it to spot gaps and identify discussion points before product reviews. And you can use my edit strategy prompt here, but what's even better is giving AI the best strategy guidelines and docs from your company. So let me give you another example here. So Amazon is famous for getting PMs to write press releases to imagine the customer experience after launch. So you can feed Amazon's working backwards template to get AI to critique it and draft your press release, right? So let's do a quick demo. Let's see if we have time. Oh, we're kind of out of time. Okay, so I'm gonna skip the demo here, but needless to say, you copy this whole template in, you copy your draft press release in, and you can see here how AI is giving you very specific examples of things that you should improve, right? Without this template, the feedback will be nowhere near on point, okay? So, you might not be working at Amazon, but you probably have like best-in-class artifacts for strategy documents or, product review templates. Try to get it from your teammates and feed it into AI as an example, and then get it to critique your document. This is like a massive leverage and massive time saver that I'm surprised more people don't do. Like, it doesn't have to be like the best-in-class document doesn't have to be from you. Like it can be from like another PM who's really good at strategy. But the point is to like give AI an understanding of what a really crisp strategy document looks like so that it can help critique your strategy too. Okay. All right. So AI is also incredibly underrated for editing product copy. Simply place a design into AI, explain the user flow, and ask it to make the copy more crisp and concise and give you a few variations. I care about product copy more than my PRDs because it's what users actually see. So small copy edits can dramatically improve the user experience. Okay, now trying to participate in a meeting while furiously taking notes is no fun. But with tools like Granola, I can finally just focus on the conversation itself. So definitely make use of this if you're not already. You can use Granola, you can use Zoom AI, some sort of meeting transcription tool. And outside of meetings, nothing gives me a bigger headache than getting tagged on a 70+ message Slack thread with no context, right? Hey, Peter, what do you think? So instead of reading the full thread, I ask AI to extract the takeaways, next steps, and open items so that I can ramp up quickly. And with AI, there's also no excuse for being too verbose in your writing. My most common AI use case is simply pasting some rough notes and then asking AI to make it more clear and concise with 3 variations. I then pick the best of AI's output or manually write my own, right? And you can, of course, include examples of your best writing output to make this prompt even better. With AI, there's really no excuse for being poor at written communication. Like just take the time to do an AI pass first before you post a product update in Slack or send an email. It can make all the difference. Okay. And last but not least, the best thing about AI for PMs is that we can now directly contribute to the user-facing product, right? And one of the best ways to do that is to build AI prototypes to show to real users. Now, the code here is not important. What's important is getting the user validation as quickly as possible. So let me give you an example. I use LinkedIn every day, and I find this right bar not very helpful for creators like myself. Like, I'd rather just see my creator stats here instead. So let's use both to prototype this directly and skip the PRD and design stage, right? So let's go ahead and pull up this link. So I basically asked Bolt to recreate this mock with React and Tailwind is basically just some UI components and trying to match the styles and font and spacing. So this is the mock that I pasted. And you can see here that Bolt did a pretty good job. It made me a white guy, but otherwise it did a pretty good job of recreating LinkedIn, right? So then you can basically go off and ask AI to give AI this prompt. Replace the right sidebar with the top stats. Be a little bit more specific about what you actually want. Here's some charts that I want. And then let's pull it up. Okay, so similarly, I asked Bolt to recreate the mock, and then I basically prompted it with this prompt. And you can see here that it's a replace the right bar with an interactive charts. And now I can take this and show it to my designer, show it to actual creators to see if this stuff resonates with real customers, right? And as you can see here, it just saves so much in the middle of the process. Like you don't have to make a Figma. You don't even have to write a PRD. You can start getting feedback right away. I think product development is all about making the feedback loop with real customers as short as possible. Okay. So this is the power of AI, right? We went from idea to prototype in minutes instead of weeks. All right. So that wraps up my 10 AI workflows to help you save time and get more done. The main thing I want to take away here is to proactively find your own list of time-consuming tasks to streamline with AI, right? Crafting a great AI prompt using the 7 steps takes time, but it's totally worth the effort long-term. Okay. And for the PMs, designers, and data scientists watching this, I think becoming an AI-powered product leader is going to hopefully make our jobs a lot more fun, right? We'll be able to use AI to streamline all the internal artifacts and busy work so that we actually have more time to focus on what actually matters, which is building with customers and crafting products that we can truly be proud of. And we've only covered a small fraction of my Maven course on becoming an AI-powered product leader. Here are some reviews from the first cohort. I am teaching a new cohort from May 31st to June 7th that already has over 50 students sign up. So, if you're interested, please consider joining me in the next cohort. And, the thing about my course is that I don't like to talk about a bunch of theory and bullshit. I only care about practical battle-tested AI workflows that you can use to immediately save time. Okay, that's what the course is about. And as a student, you will also get full access to my prompt library that includes over 20 prompts that I personally use every day for both my product and creative work. And I'm also working on getting students free memberships to my favorite AI tools, including Bolt, Granola, and more. Okay. So that's it. If you enjoyed this section, check out my free newsletter and my free YouTube channel, and consider taking my extremely practical AI course, where I will teach you everything I know about AI over 2 weeks, and you'll get hands-on practice with all 5 of these steps. So thank you so much. So now I want to answer some questions. Let me answer any questions people have. Okay, I think, is there a questions tab or something? Or if not, feel free to ask your questions directly in the chat. Okay. So the AI prompt library is kind of like okay, you have to become a paid subscriber of the newsletter or take my course to get access to it. But you have your 7 tips that I share, right? You can create your own AI prompts. And the only reason I'm using Notion is because it just makes it easy to copy and paste into AI. But you can use Google Doc or anything. Like, the point here is, like, you want to save your own AI prompt library, right? Like, with stuff that you have to do over and over again, save your own prompt library. Okay. Am I using projects in Claude? That's a great question. So projects in Claude and ChatGPT is actually really amazing. Like, I have projects set up for, you know what? I'll just show you guys my projects. So I have projects set up for a bunch of random stuff, everything from helping me edit my podcast to financials and tax and so on and so forth. And my favorite project is, I have a life coach project that gives me like personal advice. I've told it way too much details about my about my goals and my frustrations, and it gives me really good therapy and advice. And in my course, I'll show you guys how to do that too. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? My 3 favorite AI tools. Look, if there's one takeaway from this, let me give you guys the 3 main takeaways from this. Okay. Number 1, when you're giving prompts, always include context. Like, the longer the text and the context you can include, the better it is. Okay. And one of the best ways, tip number 2, one of the best ways to provide context is to use voice dictation, right? Because you don't want to type all this shit. Like, it takes too long. So just like ramble into your microphone, into your phone, and just like ramble for 2 minutes, and just paste that whole thing into AI to give it context fast. Okay. Those are probably this is probably a third tip is, people seem to want to like just skip straight to like the prototyping stage. Like, everyone's talking about AI prototyping. Let's make some apps. Let's make $1 million. But the reason my course is structured like this is because I actually think like the first 3 steps are more common and provide more value than just prototyping, right? Like you gotta learn how to use prompts. You gotta learn how to use projects. Like, you gotta learn the basic stuff. That is the basic stuff. I think just using ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, that saves me the most time. Okay. My course is like 3 hours per week. So we teach on Saturday, May 31st, and Saturday, June 7th. So it's like 3 hours of lecture and 1 hour of Q&A. And I also have like a bunch of on-demand videos. Like, there's a bunch of videos on how to prototype, like, everything from a timer to a game that you can watch yourself and submit it, and I'll give you feedback. Yeah. The tools, I mean, don't get hung up on the tools, man. Like, dude, like, Claude probably is like 80% of my usage. Bolt is my preferred tool for prototyping. Granola is a great tool for meetings. It just takes notes for you. And Super Whisper is a great tool for voice dictation. And I'm trying to negotiate with these CEOs. I'm trying to use my I'm trying to use my crappy influencer status to try and negotiate with the CEOs to give me 1-year membership for all these tools that I'll give to my students. So Bolt, for example, gave me 700 coupons that I can hand out to my students. Yeah. All right, guys. Any other questions? I'll take one more question. Who wants to ask the last question? Please submit it in chat. Yes. So my course covers how to use AI to look for a job, and also how to use AI to, like, dude, there's like, oh, I guess it's recorded, but I'm gonna be real with you guys. Okay. There is so much bullshit in like a product management job or like a designer job. If you work at a tech company, there's so much stuff like you have to write all these internal artifacts. You got to take all these meeting notes. You got to go back and forth and like draft a document like 10 times, right? So like that is what I use AI for. Like I use AI to try to streamline all the bullshit so that I can actually talk to customers. I can actually build good products and kind of accelerate that feedback loop. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Again, check out my course. It's called Becoming AI Powered Product Leader. Or you can just like add me on LinkedIn or like send me a DM. If you add me on LinkedIn, make sure you say that you saw this session because I have a lot of requests. And if you have any more questions about the course or anything, just let me know. All right, guys. And please subscribe to my YouTube. Please like and subscribe. I'm like very what do you call it? Very hungry for more subscribers. All right, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.